know.
All right.
I need a better partner.
That's true. Hi, Gopher fans. Mike Grimm along with Corbu Status. We're both with the Gopher Radio Network and glad to be with you here on Gopher Basketball Media Day. We, as you can see, are live at Williams Arena, and we'll be taking your tweets and some questions, and we'll get some info on both the men's and the women's team, both coming off of some postseason success from a year ago. And Tubby Smith will join us here shortly. We'll also hear from Rodney Williams and Andre Hollins, Pam Borton, and Rachel Banham, amongst others, here on this Media Day. Corbu is the voice of Gopher women's basketball, and we hear him on the radio. Good to see you.
Always a pleasure, Mike. And it's a fun time of year as football is really ramping up. Basketball's around the corner, and this is the time where you say goodbye to your family and hello to the Gopher facilities.
Exactly. You live here at the barn, and certainly a lot of road travel as well. And, of course, it's homecoming week here, and a lot of discussion is on football and that game tomorrow. You can hear that on the Gopher Radio Network and also listen to it here on gophersports.com. And you got hockey tonight. And basketball now underway. The women's team has already been practicing. NCAA rules allow them a little earlier start date, and the men today will get their first work in. They've been taking pictures, and soon we'll be doing interviews, and we'll hear from Tubby Smith. But what have you seen so far from the Gopher women's team from practice time that you've seen?
Well, I think most people are excited about Rachel Banham, and why not, reigning Big Ten Freshman of the Year. But a lot of question marks outside of that. And will Kayla Hurt return to herself? She hasn't played basketball in 2 years, and will the seniors come back and play it the way they're supposed to play? So there's a lot of question marks, but I think we'll get a little glimpse tonight from Pam Borton and Rachel Banham here on this show, and also with the All-Star events tonight.
Indeed, it's All-Star Friday night. We have Coach Tubby Smith, the men's basketball coach, here with us as we're live on gophersports.com, and looking
throw you right into it, don't we?
Looking very sharp, Coach. Good to see you, and you got to be eager to get these.
You guys make me look good. I hate to say it, but then again,
that's true.
Well, and
that's why we're on the radio, Coach.
That's not hard to do, but with you two around,
you've raised the bar immensely, and just with your arrival here. Let's talk briefly. You got to be eager to get going, get your guys on the practice floor where you can get them in a full practice setting. With some of the regulations, you were able to maybe see them a little more than you have in past off seasons. This off season, what have you seen from the guys, and what are you hoping to accomplish here in the next few weeks?
Well, you said a lot, Mike, but you pretty much covered it all. But one good thing about the summer allowing us those 2 hours while they were in summer school, you could do some things that we couldn't do in previous years. So I've really got to know our freshmen. I think that was a big key. We could see that Mo Walker, we could see where he was as far as his rehabilitation is concerned, because, he broke his foot at the end of the season last year in our last practice as we were preparing for the Stanford game. So having Maurice Walker out there was very. Wally Ellenson and Charles Buggs, I saw what they're capable of doing. So, yeah, we're excited about the first practice. Also we had 2 hours after September 15th that we do things with guys. So we started putting in our offense, putting our defensive system. So our first practice was more or less reviewing some things, and then starting. But the energy level, because now the competition, all of a sudden they look up and say, "Hey, I've got to compete. I've got to compete with Andre Hollins. I've got to compete with Austin Hollins. Those guys, Maverick, are competing for time. Julian Welch is competing for time. So we got good depth. That's one thing that I'm very excited about. But we've had that in the past. But depth is only good if you have everybody available to you, and that's been one of our problems over the last 2 years. We haven't had everyone available to us. We hopefully, knock on wood, that we'll have everybody available to us the entire year.
How much did that NIT run? It was a great run all the way to the championship game. Help not only get that depth, but get that experience for this team.
Well, I think it helped. We'll see based on how we perform, but we've performed well early on this season. We've had a tough time with Big Ten games, but we'll be tested early and often in our non-league schedule as we open up with Duke, playing Florida State on the road, playing Southern Cal on the road. We'll have a very good idea about what the postseason meant to us last year. But I usually say it's just a whole new season, and really It's a whole new set of people that you're trying to mold into a team, and the dynamics in each team is different. So, but I like the way Rodney finished this season. I like the 5 that we had in the starting lineup with Elliot Eliason, Austin Hollins, Andre Hollins, and Joe Coleman. Those guys performed extremely well, and they have shown that they want to continue. That especially those 5 have shown, hey, Coach, we want to secure that spot, but they know it's a lot of competition.
Coach, you mentioned Ellenson and Buggs, the 2 freshmen. We do have a question in on Twitter. They want to know if you foresee those guys playing, or would you redshirt one, or do you have a plan of attack yet for those 2 young men who I hear are pretty athletic and have impressed the upperclassmen I know this summer?
Well, they've impressed me. I think and that's why we signed, because we knew Wally Ellenson had the athleticism. We knew Charles Buggs with his length. Charles reminds me a lot of Damian Johnson. We haven't had a guy like that who could be a stopper, could run the floor like that. I'm not saying that Rodney, but Rodney is, he's never been that stopper on the perimeter that Damian Johnson could be. So to answer the question is, I think they both will play. I don't think we'll redshirt them, but you never know. We knock on wood. But then again, there's a lot of, we've got a lot of depth in the backcourt. With Julian, we have a senior in Julian. We have Austin Hollins, Maverick Misi. You have Andre Hollins. You can play Otto at the wing. You can play Joe Coleman as a wing player. Rodney could play the wing. So there is a lot of depth in for those 3 positions. So having said that, because we want to give, we certainly want them to. One of the things you always worry about is how kids, their attitude, how do they accept, because they're coming out of high school where they've played pretty much all the minutes and all they wanted to play, and the coach wished they could play more, but that's not the case when you get to college. So we'll see how things go.
Mike, I know you got the LASIK surgery, and so you could probably read that question
yes.
that I can't quite read.
November non-conference schedule, and certainly the highlight of that is the trip to the Bahamas. You open against your friend Coach Krzyzewski, Coach K, and Duke, and that is one of several games that will certainly strengthen the strength of schedule for the Golden Gophers.
Well, we always played, since we've been here at University of Minnesota, we played one of the toughest non-league schedules in the league. You would think that would be a big help to us as we get into conference play, but lo and behold, that hasn't been the case. We expect that to be a big help to us this year. But you're right, we open up with Duke in the Battle of Atlantis against a very an outstanding coach in Mike Krzyzewski, coming off of winning the Olympics, and we're good friends. We've worked a lot together in areas with the NABC, with the partnerships for basketball, and other areas. And I know that his team is always ready to play. But it's a lot of teams in that conference, and I mean that tournament: Louisville, Missouri, Memphis State, VCU. I mean, there's a lot of talent that we're going to have to over, and so that's what makes that tournament so special, because it may be the toughest tournament in the country this year. And then again, we talked about playing Florida State on the road. Anytime you have to play, so you're looking at our toughest games will be on the road. Last year we were fortunate enough to have Southern Cal here. They were on probation, and we were able to get a good win against them. We beat a good Virginia Tech team, and they had some tough times throughout the season. And Seth Greenberg ended up losing his job. So those were games that were. But these games this year, with Southern Cal being eligible to play for postseason play and being much better, and Florida State coming off of having won the ACC for the first time, so it'll be a real challenge.
Indeed. Coach, we appreciate it. I know you have other obligations as well on this media day. Great to see you, looking good, and we're excited about tonight with everything going on here at Williams Arena as well.
It'll be a fun night. Thank you.
All right, he is Coach Tubby Smith of the Golden Gopher men's basketball team. We thank him for his time as well. We'll excuse the coach. He's got other folks to go see that, and away he goes. And I think, what do we got? Rodney Williams, come on in and grab a chair. Gopher senior, and one of those high-flying acts, certainly here with Minnesota. And we talked about this summer a little bit. Can you believe already your senior year? Time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah, they always tell you that before you get started, and you don't believe them. But the time definitely did fly.
How much was that NIT run? How much did that help not only end the season on the note that you wanted to end it with a nice postseason run, but help you with your confidence after an all-tournament team nomination and being able to play well throughout that tournament?
It definitely helped me out because, in recent years my problem was consistency, but I was able to show a little bit consistency towards the end of the season. So that I feel like that definitely helped me build confidence in my game.
Your off-season workouts and training and all of that. Take us through a little of what you worked on and all of that.
Well, we had 8 weeks of practice this summer, so we did a lot of individuals and stuff, a lot of ball handling, a lot of shooting, and a lot of weightlifting too. A little bit of conditioning, but most of the time we were in the gym working on just individual things like I said, the ball handling and shooting.
That was your two main focus points here in the off season?
Yeah, definitely.
Tell us, for guys like myself and Mike, I know Mike looks like he can dunk, and with two hands he can, off of 1 foot. What's it like? What goes through your mind as you're on the breakaway, and are you thinking I'm going to put on a show, or are you making it up as you go along?
I try not to think about it too much because when I do that, I'll probably mess around and miss it. So, it kind of just happens.
How old were you when you were able to first dunk it?
No, I think I was 13. It was in a summer league game for my high school, my 8th grade year I was 14 actually, my 8th grade year going to my 9th grade year. And I got a breakaway dunk with the left hand in the summer league game. That was my first dunk.
Were you surprised? Was everybody surprised, or is that something that you'd been working on?
I've been trying, but I never made a dunk before, so that was my first one, so I was definitely surprised. I was a little too excited afterwards, too, because I didn't do nothing else for the rest of the game.
All you could think about was the dunk.
Yeah, that was it, because, I heard my mom in the background screaming, that's my baby, that stuff, and I don't know, I let all that get to my head, and I didn't do nothing for the rest of the game.
I think, Corporal, you were 14 the first time you dunked.
Well, the first time my mom admitted that I was her baby, yes, was when I was 14.
Right then, exactly. Now, tonight is the All-Star Friday night. You have won this dunk contest before. I think, was it last year? You couldn't, right? You had a little injury, or was that the year before? I'm trying to recall. Year before. So you were in it. So Joe Coleman beat you last year. Yeah. Are you in it this year, and do you have anything special planned to take home the hardware?
I'm in it this year. I don't know what I got planned for this one. We got 2 freshmen that can really throw it down. So I guess I'm gonna go off what they do and hopefully win this thing one more time.
Is there one dunk in particular over the course of your career that you kind of hang your hat on, a Rodney Williams signature dunk, would you say?
Yeah, the 360. That's definitely my signature dunk. That's like one of my only trick dunks that I can do that I know I'm gonna make every time. So that's definitely the one.
That's why you can do it in a game, because you're good enough at it. I mean, because let's face it, you do a 360 in a game, you got to be pretty sure the thing's going through the hoop, right?
Oh yeah, especially with Coach Smith. You do a trick dunk in the game, you miss it, you definitely come right out the game. So if I definitely got to be certain about that.
Well, the good news is if you do miss it, you got a guy like Trevor Bockway here who's able to clean it up, and we'll bring him on. Rodney, thanks.
Oh yeah.
All right, good to see you. All right, have a good season here coming up. Rodney Williams, senior, here from Minneapolis, and we bring from number 33 to number 32. We got Trevor and Bockway with us here, another Gopher senior, and good to see you. How excited were you when you got the news that you'd be able to come back and play one more year of college basketball?
I was really excited. I was shocked. When Coach brought me to his office and we were talking, I was like, oh, it's gonna be some bad news. And then he told me, and I was kind of like, huh? And then he had repeated himself, but I was grateful for it. I almost broke down and crying, but I didn't know how Coach would respond to it, so I did it. But it was good news.
What is the emotion for you like on a day like today, where it is kind of the kickoff to the start of the basketball season, and it is your last go-around?
Well, is it?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, yeah.
It's exciting, especially seeing my team, especially with the freshmen, and you realize, like, wow, like, this is my 4th one, and how time really flies. But It's great. You know, the atmosphere. You know, the college basketball season is right around the corner. You know, we got the new banners and the new scoreboard, and you know the schedule's coming out, and you know it's exciting.
So that was it. You just hung around to see all the
Basically,
all the renovations.
They told me in 2 or 3 years they're gonna get some new stuff, so I was like, oh, I'll wait around a couple of years. So.
I think a lot of people are wondering how is your knee feeling? How did the? I mean, that's a lot of hard work to rehab. Where are you right now in this recovery?
My knee's doing really great. I'm fully cleared now, and I'm going to play in the scrimmage tonight. And the last couple weeks I've been playing open gym with the guys and practicing fully go. And the knee, you know, has been responding really great for me, and I haven't had any complaints. So I'm excited and, you know, ready to really test it out now.
One of certainly your strengths, obviously, the athletic ability and the quick release off the floor. Do you feel that's coming back?
Oh, yeah, it's steadily getting back. It's not perfectly to extent what it used to be, but, you know, every day I could kind of tell it's coming back soon. So, you know, it's taking day by day, and hopefully Coach let me shoot a little bit more threes so, you know, save my legs. So I can use my knee as an excuse to, you know, stay on the perimeter a little bit more. But yeah, it's doing pretty good.
I know Coach really wants to focus on rebounding this year. Is that something that he said to you specifically? And what has he said? What does he want from Trevor and Bockway this year?
You know, he's kind of expecting me to just be a team leader, you know, vocal on defense and talking, you know, and having a good inside presence, you know. He didn't really have to tell me about rebound as much because, you know, that's what I love doing. And, you know, definitely probably one of our weaknesses last year. But, you know, just come in and, you know, do what I usually do and just play my game, really. That's what he's told me to do.
Having to watch that run in the NIT from the bench, did that help with leadership skills at all? I mean, what was that experience like for you?
I think it made my rehab process a lot better for myself. You know, just being able to cheer my teammates on, and you know, especially when I went down, a lot of people fell off the bandwagon, which was but I think the team responded great, and especially the first victory with Virginia Tech on ESPN, it was great, and the run that they made towards the end of the season, it made my rehab process easier, seeing my teammates happy, winning games, and it made it easier for myself.
That rehab process, I mean, you go from that day down in Orlando, which you don't like to think about when you got the injury. There had to be a lot of lonely days in the gym, lifting and jogging, and you and the trainers and the medical staff. I mean, were there times where you're like, man, what's going on here?
Yeah, it definitely was tough times. It's a frustrating process, you know, especially when you're sitting on the table doing 100,000 leg raises, and you're like, oh, is this even going to do anything? And then, but you know, like days like this when I'm able to scrimmage with my team in front of the fans and get back out there, it makes you appreciate the whole experience. And it was definitely tough times, but I had a great support group, and the coaches did a great job, and my teammates, you know, kind of keeping me a part of the team and making sure that, you know, there weren't too many lonely nights. So, but, you know, I'm very grateful I believe everything happens for a reason, and I'm excited just to be here and be able to play again.
How good can this Gopher team be this year? Assuming everything goes well, you stay healthy, everybody stays healthy. Where can this team finish come the spring?
I think we could finish pretty high. I think we all believe that we could make a deep run. We have the talent and the depth, and I think this could be the year that we finally, you know, get over the bump and make the NCAA tournament and actually win games in the NCAA tournament. I think, you know, we have a great coach and we have some great players and coming back, and, you know, I think this could definitely be the year, you know, barring any injuries for once.
Yeah, they need a few breaks, that's for sure. Hey, good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
All right,
Thank
Trevor
you.
and Bockway.
Thanks, Trevor.
In the maroon and gold for one more season here at Gopher Senior. And Andre Hollins, the Gopher sophomore who had that breakout spring last year, had shown some flashes early in the season and then was trying to overcome some ankle injuries early, and then once he finally got healthy, he was rolling through the Big Ten tournament and through that NIT. First of all, good to see you.
Good to see you. Great to be here.
How'd your summer go?
It went well. We worked real hard this summer. Got pumped some iron. The whole team. We're stronger this year.
Did you? So you got? It looks like you got a little thicker, right? A little stronger.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What that run in that postseason last year? And I know Corbu has asked both Coach Smith and Trevor, you know, in terms of confidence and what it did. What did it do for you? Because certainly you were one of the standout guys during that streak.
It definitely built my confidence, raised my confidence level to a very high point, and it just gave me confidence. I can run the team, and I think it gave my teammates confidence in me to know that they have the right guy at the position.
So it sounds like that's one thing that you learned, or that you know now that maybe you didn't know as a freshman. Is there anything else now as a sophomore you're like, okay, this is what I wish I could have told myself as a freshman?
Just slow the game down, and just be a better decision maker. You know, it's sometimes, you know, the game moves fast, and the best thing to do is to slow it down.
It seems like you do that pretty well at the free throw line. I mean, gosh, you led the Big Ten in free throw percentage. What's it like? What are you thinking about at the line?
Just thinking about just me. I just think it's me, the ball, and the goal. I don't think about anything else. I tune out everything else and just concentrate on the rim.
When you're 91% free throw shooter as you were last year, I'm assuming that means you're 91% because you probably take 1,000 free throw practice free throws over the course of whatever. How often are you on the line at practice before, after, honing in that 15-foot shot?
Yeah, I don't know how many free throws I've shot. I mean, it's probably a ridiculous amount. My dad, he's on me about free throws. Sometimes I couldn't leave the gym. We couldn't leave the gym until I made 9 out of 10. So, it's just it was instilled in me at a young age. So.
We asked Trevor this question as well. How good can this maroon and gold team be? This Golden Gopher team this year is coming off of that good run last year, and certainly good feelings here in the offseason. How good can you guys be?
I think we'd be a great team. I think we can go far into the NCAA tournament. We just have to push each other in practice and listen to Coach Smith, of course.
Andre, best of luck this year. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. And
right,
Mike,
good to see you, sir.
I know watching him and what he was able to do in the second half of the season, and really took over the team at the point and did such a great job. And one of the people we're going to talk about next with Rachel Banham, also a point guard. I mean, that's something that these basketball teams, when they got that point guard going, it's pretty dynamic out there on the floor.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, she was the freshman of the year in the Big Ten, and really the Gophers' go-to player. It's not often at the Big Ten level, men's, women's, whatever, that it's a freshman that becomes the go-to player almost from day one. But you saw him every night. That was pretty much the case.
Yeah, she was really, really outstanding, and was able to take over that leadership role and do it in a comfortable fashion. And who better to ask about that than the head coach, Pam Borton. Coach, good to see you again. And let's just jump right into the Rachel Banham talk. We didn't talk about her enough last year. What was she? Talk about her freshman year and how she was able to really put the team on her shoulders and have a lot of success.
Well, I think she was definitely the most consistent player we had on the team, and I think for her to be the leading scorer in the country as a freshman, or the freshman that was the leading scorer, was absolutely unbelievable. She was going through everything for the first time last year, and I think this year she's so much more confident. She's been there, done it, had a very, very successful year, and she's ready to take on a bigger role this year as a leader.
You guys have been already underway with practice. How has that gone up to this point? What would you where would you give your team in terms of an assessment up to this point?
Wow. I mean, I'm really, really excited. I don't even know where to start. We've been through 9 practices. We've got to get some of our better players on the floor that are healthy. Rachel's been out of practice a little bit. Michaela Richey's been out of practice a little bit, just bumps and bruises. Katie Loberg's been out of practice with a dislocated thumb. We'll start getting some people back in a couple days, and Rachel will probably be back full-time in about a week and a half. But we're tougher, better defensively. We're a quicker team. We've got more ball handlers on the floor. We go a little bit deeper in the post. And, I think our athleticism and our speed and our versatility is a lot better than it's been in a few years.
You had Corbu mentioned Kayla Hurd, who had been injured. How has her progress been?
She's doing great. It's great to have another player on the floor that can just make shots, make plays, make huge baskets for you. She's still getting in game shape and still kind of shaking some of the cobwebs off, but there's no better time than now for her to do that. But she's going to have a huge role in the success of our team this year.
You mentioned Rachel Banham, obviously one of the captains, but so was Michaela Richey, which I don't know if surprise is the right word, but what a great finish to the season for her last year. The progress she's made to be able to become a captain and take over that leadership role.
Well, I think Michaela's has definitely bought in, and she had a great end of the year. She started the last 7 out of 10 games, and we won the last 7 out of 10 games. We finished the season really strong. She made a huge commitment in the offseason. She's in the best shape that she's ever been. Just really committed to her game and getting in shape and just becoming a great leader. And just very, very excited about her taking another step forward this year.
Let's talk about the 2 seniors, Leah Cotton and Katie Loberg. I know there's still a lot of potential to come from those 2.
They really are. I mean, they're our seniors, and we're really going to be leaning on them and counting on them for a lot of things this year. And obviously, I thought Katie had some good games last year, and if we can get Katie to be a lot more consistent, she's unstoppable. She really is. And Leah brings a lot of passion, a lot of heart, and a lot of energy to the floor. So, I think we have a lot of really good players to put around those two.
We asked Tubby this question in relation to the success that his team had late through the NIT. You guys had similar success in the CBI, where you're playing each night. It's a do or you're done situation. How much did that help to go through a string of games like that and win? And in regard to the off season and the momentum, did it carry over?
It really did. I think it really gave some of our younger players 3.5 more weeks of basketball to play, and it really did. And we had. I think Michaela Richey really grew up during that time and had a great postseason. I think we were playing our best basketball at the end of the season last year, probably around the Big Ten tournament. But we've got to move that up a little bit and play, our best basketball about 2 or 3 weeks before then. So, but no, I thought it really helped us. We ended the season on a win, and we're on great momentum. I already think that we're better than we were all of last year right now, and just really exciting. We just got to keep people healthy right now.
You took on a really tough schedule last year, particularly in the non-conference. It seemed like you guys were out of town every week or weekend playing a tough place. The schedule's tough again, but I know you like to play here, and it's a big home court edge. You have a few more games here, particularly in that non-conference.
Yeah, I think our scheduling was a lot different last year. We played a lot of road games in the non-conference, and this year we are at home quite a bit, which is good. And but our schedule's still very, very tough. We're playing a lot of BCS schools. And we open up our first conference here at home. We play Washington State, Pac-12. We got Villanova from the Big East coming in. And then obviously South Dakota State's always very good. And we got Virginia on our schedule. We've got Kansas on our schedule. And, it's not easy for us. And then we go to Cancun and play 3 quality teams down there. And I feel like we're going to be opening up the Big Ten-like season here in the non-conference pretty early.
When you go to Cancun, make sure you keep Corbu off the beach, okay? Can you do that? We don't want him out on the beach.
Well, I'm not going to take any part of him, or I can't even picture him in a bathing suit or even lathering up with any suntan lotion right now. So I'm not even going to go there with that.
On that note, we'll let you get out of here. Thanks, Coach. We appreciate it. She is Pam Borton, and I know that's exciting for you that you're going to Cancun.
Yes, it is.
And for this team, but it, hey, if we can't have a little fun, what can we have here?
That's right.
Rachel Banham is with us now, the freshman of the year in the Big Ten. And how much are you looking forward to that trip to Cancun?
Oh, geez. I'm so excited. I already said to Coach, I was like, I think we need a day to go swimming and tanning. But, no, it's going to be a fun tournament. I'm excited. I've never gone to Cancun, so it's going to be sweet.
You were named Big Ten Freshman of the Year last year. I know that was your goal. What was the feeling when you accomplished it?
It was sweet. I mean, I set that goal right in the beginning, and Coach was like, that's going to be hard. Like, you got to work really hard. And once I got it, I was so excited. It was kind of shocking, but I was really happy.
Why was it shocking? Because it seemed pretty apparent to, I know, Lynette and myself, that you were the front runner the whole year.
Yeah. It's just in the beginning, it was hard. It was so different coming into college basketball, and I was struggling at first, and I was like, I don't know how I fit in. And then once I started getting into Big Tens and feeling more comfortable, I was like, I got this.
For you, this Gopher team, we've asked really both the men and the women's team here with that success that you each had in the spring. That momentum carries over. Did it make summer workouts easier? Feel better about the team in regard to how it finished the year?
Definitely. I mean, I think this summer we worked harder than we did last summer, and even preseason, and even now. I think our team is just more motivated and more excited for this year, knowing how we beat teams that we weren't supposed to really beat it, and I think that just pushes us more harder in workouts, and it gets us more excited for this year.
What's it like playing in your hometown with family and friends, and when you're here for sure in the home floor, getting to come and watch you all the time?
Yeah, it's awesome. My family's always right behind the bench. My entire family, my aunts, my grandma, everybody's here. It's so awesome. I can't imagine not having them here or playing somewhere far. So it's awesome. It feels good to have that kind of support.
Is your role as a captain this year that much different than being a point guard out on the floor? Because you kind of have to run the team out on the floor anyway.
Right. I think it's going to come kind of natural because being a point guard, like you said, I kind of had to tell people, what to do, what we need to accomplish and stuff. And I think that's a lot what a captain needs to do, talk a lot, have leadership. So it goes hand in hand. I
don't know you to talk very much.
Yeah.
Well, talk about what you know now as a sophomore that maybe you didn't know as a freshman.
I think toughness with me is so much different. I mean, last year, I was struggling, and I tried to be tough, but I think there's times where I was just folding and, like, you know, just wasn't able to handle. I think this year I've learned, like, how to be tough, like, mentally and physically. I think this makes such a big difference because in this game, like, you really have to be mentally strong.
There were times, Coach Borton last year mentioned a couple of times, and I chatted with her, that she was maybe, particularly maybe in the preseason, intentionally kind of hard on you in practice to try to get you motivated, to try to, you know, to teach how hard you have to work, those kind of things. And I'm sure at the time it wasn't great for you, but do you look back now and say, yeah, that certainly propelled me into the year I had?
Yeah, I'm definitely grateful. I mean, in the beginning, you're like, why is she picking on me? Like, leave me alone. But now you realize, like, okay, I see why she did it. Like, look what I've done and how she's pushed me, and it makes such a big difference, and I thank her for that.
Does she still occasionally pick on you?
Oh, yeah. She has comments here and there.
But it's all to try to make you and the team better, right?
Of course, of course.
What do you see from your teammates? I mean, you see them out on the floor. You know them probably better, almost as well as Coach Borton. What's the outlook for this team this year?
I think we're going to be really good. I mean, our athleticism is better than it was last year. We work so much harder. Like, the girls, everyone has so much heart, and I know everyone's super passionate about what we're doing, and I'm just excited. It's going to be good, and we're going to be fun, and we're going to be playing fast, like how we like it, run the court a lot. It's going to be fun.
Is there, have you had time to look and say, all right, here's how the Big Ten looks like, here are some teams we need to hop, and kind of how, can you handicap that for us, or is it too early?
Gosh, I mean, every team in the Big Ten is so good. I mean, every game is going to be a challenge, and I can't really say, like, oh, we really need to beat them. We really need to beat everybody. Like, that's just how it is. So going into every game, we're going to have to focus on beating this team, and then next game we'll worry about the next team. So right now, let's just win some games.
All right, very good. Rachel Banham, sophomore point guard from Lakeville. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, very good. She is Rachel Banham, and that will do it from our coverage, Corbu.
Yeah, Mike, it should be a fun year this year in basketball. And see you, Rachel. And yeah, you can leave. Get out of here. But I know that I'm really excited about the season. I would imagine after that run to the Big Apple that you're really excited, too, to see what Tubby Smith's team can do.
Yeah, you know, there's always seemed to be something that is short-circuited with,
Sure.
You know, you look like okay, this is going to be the year, and you just hold your breath. I mean, we've kind of been conditioned now. You hold your breath. If nothing gets short-circuited, if this team stays together, I think it's going to be a really good basketball team. And really, the same can probably be said for the women's team as well. If they stay healthy, they've got an opportunity to contend, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It should be a lot of fun this year. We hope to see everybody out at the barn, and we can definitely find you on gophersports.com. You can find us on the Gopher Radio Network all season long. Mike, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you next time.